Hello, good evening, jolly tea drinkers. Thank you for joining us for a cozy and festive treat, our special 11-night coffee and tea holiday event. Over the next 11 nights, we'll share one story with 11 chapters. It's the holiday gift you didn't know you needed, or maybe you did. Tonight, we begin our story, Tea and Basketball. So, grab your favorite tea, snuggle up under a cozy blanket, and get ready for the Mr. Coffee and Miss Tea story event of the season. Are you ready? Because our story begins right now. Tea and Basketball, Chapter 1. Oh my goodness, you actually own this youth center? Asked Paulina. Could you say that any louder? Quipped Mr. Coffee. Sorry, chuckled Paulina. She looked around in admiration. It's just a really cool thing. Well, thank you, Paulina, said Mr. Coffee. Today, Mr. Coffee, Miss Tea, and Paulina were at a youth center for a community basketball tournament. The trio were carrying boxes of their supplies to a booth where the tea cafe would be providing free tea for the people. So you really opened this place just this year, and this is your first event? Asked Alina Messina, known to her friends as Miss T. Well, I was a part of every step of the process, but I have a team at the Treadwell organization who did most of the work, said Sean Hansen, also known as Mr. Coffee. But today, remember, I'm just a volunteer like you. No one here knows that I'm behind all of this. Okay, Paulina? I don't know why you're singling me out, but I get it, fine, said Paulina. She lowered her voice. No one will find out from me that you're really Theodore Treadwell, founder of the Treadwell organization. Shh, Paulina, said Miss T. What? I whispered it, and nobody's even here, said Paulina. You never know, the walls could have ears, scolded Miss T. Paulina, I really need to be able to trust you with this information that you basically forced me to tell you a few weeks ago, said Mr. Coffee. Are you trying to tell me right now that I made a bad decision? Fine, I will try not to mention it again today, she replied. Try really hard. Okay, said Paulina. Mr. Coffee looked around. My chief of staff should be around here somewhere. He grabbed his phone and started typing. So, where should we put our boxes? Asked Miss T. Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Coffee put his phone back in his pocket and said, You shouldn't have to carry that. Here, place your box on top of mine. Miss T did as he asked. Okay, thank you. Oh, will you take my box too? Asked Paulina hopefully. Nope, he said as he walked away. Rude, Paulina chuckled. Mr. Coffee, that's not very nice. The ladies followed after him. Better be careful, someone might say you're playing favorites. Well, that someone would be right, he replied. Miss T laughed. Come on, guys, let's go find our booth. They walked into a room filled with tables. People were swirling around, setting up their booths. The trio walked around, looking for their spot. Finally, Paulina pointed. Look, there's our booth. There was a large tea cafe sign on the front of their table. "Aw, what a cute sign," said Miss T. "You like it?" asked Mr. Coffee. "I actually designed this one myself." "Really?" said Paulina. "You do graphic design too?" "Sean, are you secretly an artist?" asked Miss T. "Calm down, ladies. It was just one sign," he said as he placed the boxes on top of the table. "Yeah, but all of the other signs look just like this one," said Paulina as she placed her box on the table. "That's because they liked what I created and used it as a template for the other signs," he said nonchalantly. "Wow, that means you are the graphic designer for this entire event," said Paulina. "You are really talented," said Miss T. "Big Coffee doing big things," joked Paulina. "All right, let's relax. It's no big deal, okay?" said Mr. Coffee. "Now, how do you want to set up this table?" The ladies glanced at each other with a smile. "All right," said Miss T. Let's place the cups over there and the tea kettles over there. Ooh, are there any outlets we can plug into?" "There's actually one right here behind the table." "Sweet," said Paulina. She playfully shook Mr. Coffee's arm and said, "You hooked us up." She grabbed the power strip and equipment and started setting things up. "I just wanted to make sure that we had what we needed," said Mr. Coffee as he rubbed his arm shyly. "Thank you," said Miss T with a smile. She placed her hand on his arm. "You're too good to us." He smiled back at her and said quietly, So I was thinking maybe after this." "Mr. Hanson, there you are. Good morning, sir." Mr. Coffee looked up with a sigh. "Oh, good morning, Cade," Mr. Coffee replied. "I'd like you to meet the owner of the tea cafe, my friend Elena. Everyone calls her Miss T. Miss T, this is my chief of staff, Cade Mitchell." "Hello, Cade," she said. "Pleasure to meet you, Miss T," said Cade. Paulina cleared her throat loudly. "Ahem." "Oh, and that's Paulina," said Mr. Coffee, nodding his head in her direction. "Good morning, Paulina," said Cade. "Hey," she replied irritatedly. "So, have all the vendors arrived?" asked Mr. Coffee. He guided himself and Cade away from the ladies. "Yes, Mr. Hanson, and the basketball players are currently warming up in the gym." "Good, good," said Mr. Coffee. "Well, I'll be here setting up and working the booth with the ladies if you need me. But Cade—" "Yes, Mr. Hanson." "Don't need me," said Mr. Coffee. "Yes, Mr. Hanson," and Cade walked away. Mr. Coffee returned to the ladies who were in the middle of a conversation. "All right, Miss T," said Paulina. "That must have felt really good making that smooth steel during the game." "Well, not really," said Miss T. "It turned out that I actually stole the ball from someone on my own team." "Oh no," said Paulina. "And then I threw the ball into the wrong basket." "No, no," laughed Paulina. "Oh, it was so embarrassing." Miss T shook her head. "I vowed right then and there that I would never try to play basketball again." She laughed. "Oh, so you're not into basketball at all?" asked Mr. Coffee. "No, well, not playing at least." She chuckled. "You know, Cade's younger brother will be playing in the tournament today," said Mr. Coffee. "So that might be fun for us to watch." "Oh, really?" she said. Yep, I'd watch that. Will we finish here in time to watch the game? Asked Paulina. Or will we be working the entire day? Oh no, once the game starts, we're done, said Mr. Coffee. The trio worked together and set up the booth. 15 minutes later, everything looks great, said Mr. Coffee. It really does. Great work, team, said Miss T. She high-fived her teammates. And just in time, too, Paulina nodded toward the other side of the room. Looks like people are arriving now. Okay, so what's the game plan? Asked Mr. Coffee. All right, I made it really simple, said Miss T. I brought 3 kettles. 2 are filled with 2 different types of tea, and the third one contains hot chocolate. Each of us can be in charge of 1 drink. Sound good? Yes, said Mr. Coffee. I call the hot chocolate, announced Paulina. Oh man, I wanted to do the hot chocolate, said Mr. Coffee, clearly disappointed. You snooze, you lose, said Paulina. Sean, you can do the vanilla rooibos, Miss T said. Well, I guess that is the next best thing. Thank you, said Mr. Coffee playfully. Hot chocolate is still the best, boasted Paulina. It's the most popular. Perhaps that's because they don't yet know about the wonderfulness that is vanilla rooibos, responded Mr. Coffee. Wonderfulness? In your dreams, said Paulina. The 3 friends cheerfully worked for an hour, serving drinks to the people. So, how long has Cade been working for you? Asked Miss T. About 3 months, said Mr. Coffee. He came highly recommended from someone that I know. So far, so good. He seems to be very much on top of things, said Miss T. He is, said Sean. And as you can imagine, with all of the things that I do, I need someone to really stay on top of my schedule. Does he know your secret identity? Asked Paulina. He does, and he is bound by a non-disclosure agreement, said Sean. Ooh, see? That's what millionaires do, Paulina snapped her fingers. Well, it can be hard to trust people these days. He stared daggers at Paulina. Why are you giving me that look? Said Paulina. I am a trusted confidant. I'm Robin. Oh, so you're saying that I can count on you? Yes. And if I ask for a favor, you'll do it? Yes. So you'll let me have the hot chocolate? No. They dissolved into laughter. You guys are officially my favorite comedy duo, said Miss T. You should do the halftime show. These games today are going to be way better than any halftime show, said Mr. Coffee. I heard that the best young ball players in the city are supposed to be here today, said Paulina. I think this is shaping up to be a great community event, said Miss T. Sean, you should be so proud. I believe this will be an unforgettable day, said Mr. Coffee with a smile. And that's where we'll pause for tonight, jolly tea drinkers. The story is just heating up, and there's so much more to uncover. What will happen next in Tea and Basketball? You'll have to join us tomorrow night to find out. Make sure your tea is steeped and your cozy spot is ready, because Chapter 2 promises more twists, turns, and heartwarming moments. So, sip your tea, sleep well, and we'll see you tomorrow for the next chapter of our special holiday story event. Until next time, jolly tea drinkers.